All right, guys. Things are just getting crazy out there in the world. We got the big debate tomorrow, Tuesday, Trump versus Camilla. And you're starting to see a lot of the misery that Kamala Harris and the Democrats have caused over the last 3 years by leaving the border wide open. It's kind of coming to head right now. And it's kind of convenient right before the election. Here's a story out of New York. Report says illegal aliens responsible for up to 75% of all violent crime arrest in Midtown Manhattan. So essentially, all the illegals Biden administration shipped in over the last 3 years, leaving the border wide open, letting third world, let's be honest, animals into your country, into the United States. They're essentially destroying the entire country. So you have New York City, Manhattan, almost every arrest, illegals. New York City is in the midst of a violent migrant crime wave. According to a recent report by New York Post, illegal aliens account for up to 75% of all arrests in Midtown alone, many for violent crimes like assault, robbery, domestic violence. This is staggering figure sheds light on the real consequences of reckless open border policies. Man, if you guys remember, I'm an older guy, 44 years old. Back in the 80s, back in the 70s, nobody went to New York City. It was a dump. It was run by Democrats. Giuliani came in the mid-90s, completely cleaned it up. I started taking trips to New York. I went to the 21 Club for my 21st birthday. I went with my aunt. Just took me, no problem, and went on the train from Maryland. And there's no crime. There were cops everywhere. It completely cleaned it up. Democrats came in about 10, 15 years ago, and they completely destroyed it. And on top of that, you have Democrats running the country, just flooding New York City with illegals. So New York City has essentially died. I don't know how, if you live in New York City or New York, you can vote for a Democrat. But on top of that, it's not just New York City. Here it is right here. Springfield, Ohio. This is the big story of the day. Everybody's talking about. We have Haitian migrants. Now, if any of you guys know anything about Haiti, it's a royal shithole, one of the worst countries on the planet. It doesn't get much worse than that. I mean, murder, rape. They have no rules over there. It's a third world just dump. And essentially, you now have Haitian migrants who make up like 10, 20% now of the population of this Springfield, Ohio. They're shitting on the street, raping people, killing people. And on top of that, there used to be ducks. There used to be ducks and geese in the park. Well, they've killed all them to eat them. You have Haitians walking down the street with geese in their hand, and that's going to be their dinner. They're shitting in people's yards. This is all under the Biden administration. I'm not even sure if the country at this point can even be fixed. Like if Donald Trump gets elected, he just starts deporting illegals on a massive scale. I believe that's the only hope. I mean, it really is. But at this point, with the country might already be too far gone. Listen to this lady, this little white lady here, just talking about how miserable her life is now, living in Springfield, Ohio. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's like out of The Onion or a horror movie.
I'm done with what I'm seeing. It is so unsafe in my neighborhood anymore. I have the homeless that were trying to camp out, and I have made concessions with them, and I try to help them the best I can to keep them from trying to squat on my property. But it is so unsafe. I have men that cannot speak English in my front yard screaming at me, throwing mattresses in my front yard, throwing trash in my front yard, and I can't. Look at me, I weigh 95 pounds. I couldn't defend myself if I had to. My husband is elderly, and last night, after living in this home for 45 years, he said, "Noelle, guess what? It's time to pack up and move." He said, "We can't do this anymore." He said, "It's killing both of us mentally." I don't understand what you expect of us as citizens. I mean, I understand they're here under temporary protected status, and you're protecting them, and I understand that our city services are overwhelmed and understaffed, but who's protecting us? If we're protecting them, who's protecting me?
She said it well. This woman, American citizen, you can tell she was born in the United States, been paying taxes all her life, probably home collecting Social Security after working her whole life with her elderly husband. And the Biden Camilla administration, led by the Democrats, have destroyed her city. They've destroyed her life. And that's what people have to understand about the Democrats. They don't care about you. They hate you. For one, they definitely hate her because she's white. They want the migrant. They would love a Haitian migrant to rape and murder this woman. That would put a smile on their face, in my personal opinion. They hate her, but they hate taxpayers. They hate good, law-abiding people. All they care about is bringing in the illegals, so one day the illegals will eventually vote for them. This is like Civil War stuff, guys. Like, the stuff that's happening in the United States, if this doesn't change soon, I truly believe people are going to rise up and take back the country. It's going to get really nasty, and I hope it doesn't come to that. But what's going on right now is like something like you could have never predicted 20 years ago, what the liberal Democrat politicians have done to this country. It really is treasonous. Now listen to this guy. He's black guy, lives in Springfield, Ohio, and he's just pretty much talking about how the migrants, the Haitian migrants, are just they're just killing all the geese in the park and cooking them up and eating them. Anyway, let's hear what this guy has to say.
Just sitting up there and suicide. Like, I really challenge you guys to get out here and do something. These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into... they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't know how, like, y'all can be comfortable with this. Like, I don't know, like, who's getting paid from this. I honestly feel like someone's getting paid from it in the background. You got a bunch of people on a bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them. Like,
guys, America is turning into a third world country. I've been to third world countries. I've been all over the world. I've been to China. I've been everywhere. I've been to Europe. America is turning into a third world country. If you live in New York City, Springfield, Chicago, we just had this last year in Chicago, all the residents furious with all the illegals coming in, taking their services. The liberal Democrat politicians have sold you out. I understand you might not like Trump's personality. You might think he's kind of mean, but his policies were good for America. And the only cure, the most important situation we have going on in this country right now is illegal immigrants. You cannot bus in millions of people from third world failed countries and expect them to assimilate in your country. The same thing's happening in Europe right now, where they have Muslims essentially killing people in the streets, raping women in the streets. Now, the same thing's happening in this country. We have Haitians killing people in the streets. You can find the stories, raping people, killing kids. Venezuela, you have the Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes. This has to stop. And the only solution is Donald Trump getting elected president. So this story is a big story, and I don't think this is going to help Kamala Harris at all. I'm curious what she has to say about it. She was the border czar, and she left the border open for 3 freaking years. I really don't understand how anybody can vote Democrat at this point. It boggles my mind. But this country, United States of America, is turning into a third world shithole, and it's not looking too good. And Trump's the only hope. But this is crazy. This is like, if you could have taken me back 10 years and said, hey, look, we're going to have Haitian immigrants killing geese in the park, killing people, raping people, and the government's not going to do anything about it, I'd be like, no, that's a little bit of a stretch. But all these conspiracy theorists from 10, 20 years ago talking about what was going to happen if they left the borders wide open, they all turned out to be right. And now the chickens are coming home to roost, and people are getting fed up. And like I said, eventually people are not going to take it anymore. And this is an issue that can bring white people together, Hispanic people who are U.S. citizens, black people in the inner cities. This affects us all. None of us want to deal with this. And if black people, Hispanic people, white people, U.S. citizens, we need to all come together and work together on this issue and tell the politicians, fuck you. And that's what we have to tell them. And if they don't fix the problem, we're going to come out and fix the problem. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Like and subscribe. Talk to you later.